Hello everyone. Today we will be studying fourth chapter of sericulture, that is harvesting of mulberry leaves. Content of this chapter are as follows: leaf plucking method, branch cutting method and whole shoot cutting method. Now harvesting of mulberry leaves. Collection of mulberry leaves to feed silkworm larvae from mulberry plants in a logical manner is called as harvesting of mulberry leaves. Quality of leaves determine the growth of silkworm larvae and quality of silk obtained from the cocoon. Harvesting time. Early morning hours is the best time. Afternoon time is not recommended. This is because during early hours there is more moisture content and less carbohydrate. In afternoon you will have less moisture, which is not good. Now which leaves you have to avoid? Too tender or too mature leaves are to be avoided because too tender leaves have very little nutrients and too mature leaves are not palatable. Diseased or pest infested leaves are to be avoided because the silkworm larvae will also get infected with those diseases. Leaves sprayed with insecticide should be avoided as it is harmful to the silkworm larvae. Old and yellow leaves are to be avoided because they do not have any nutrients in them. Now these are some of the diseased mulberry leaves. First one is leaf spot, second is leaf rust, third is mildew disease, fourth is fungus leaf blight, and fifth one is bacterial leaf blight. So all such leaves should not be fed to the larvae. Leaf requirements of larvae. The leaf requirement of early instar larvae and late instar larvae are different. Early instar larvae, they need young, large leaves which are succulent with less nutrients. They are usually present at the apical part of the branches. Usually the Japanese method is used where the most uh, glossy leaf having large size is selected, and adjacent to it whatever leaves are there, they are also selected, and such leaves are fed to the early instar larvae. For late instar larvae, mature leaves are given because such leaves have more nutrients in them and less moisture. Such leaves are usually present in the middle or lower part of the plant. Methods of leaf harvesting. So there are three different methods. First is leaf plucking, second is branch cutting, and third is whole shoot cutting. First method, leaf plucking method. In this method, the plucking of leaf starts 10 weeks after bottom pruning. Individual leaves are plucked without petiole or with petiole. They are plucked either with a leaf plucker or by hand. Usually the terminal or the apical buds are removed. So because of this, what happens is the axillary buds develop as lateral shoot, and for the next crop you have long well developed lateral shoot as the next crop. So these lateral shoots develop into the secondary branches and they are plucked as the second crop. Leaves are plucked at an interval of 7 to 8 weeks. Merits of this method is, as the plucker individually plucks the leaves, he or she is able to observe the leaves and only desirable leaves are plucked. Demerits of this method are it requires more labor and time as individually each and every leaf are plucked. The leaves dry quickly because they are removed from the main branch. This method is suitable for small scale rearing because in large scale rearing you cannot afford to have so much manpower. The second method is branch cutting method. In this method is applicable for tree and middling plantation. We usually find tree and middling plantation in temperate areas of Kashmir. Whole branches are cut from the base. Harvested branches are given to the mature larvae after third molt. So fourth and fifth instar larvae are given such branches. Harvesting is done manually or by machine. In India, it is practiced in Kashmir where it is called as Bachi system. It is also practiced in Karnataka and West Bengal. Branch cutting is also popular in Japan where it is called as Josoiku, and also in Russia. This method is suitable for shoot and floor rearing. This is the diagrammatic representation of branch cutting method. The red marking shows how the branches are cut from the base. Merits of this method. This method requires less labor and time because you are cutting directly the branches. Leaves remain succulent and green for a longer time because they are attached to the branch. Maximum utilization of leaf by the larvae because the leaf do not dry quickly and the larvae utilize almost all the leaf as its food. Clean and hygienic condition is maintained in the rearing room because bed cleaning is very comfortable, very easy with branches as compared to leaves. Demerits of this method: desirable leaves cannot be selected because you are cutting the whole branch and it has all types of leaves. This method is suitable for large scale rearing. Whole shoot cutting. This method is suitable for mulberry bush and middlings. In case of middlings, top of the branch is harvested and fed to the worms after fourth molt. In case of bushes, shoots are cut from the base. 20 to 25 days young shoots are suitable for chalky larvae. This is done at an interval of 10 to 12 weeks. In India, it is practiced in West Bengal, Malda district and Kolar region of Karnataka. In Japan and Russia, mulberry cultivation is done on a large scale, so mechanical harvesters are used for whole shoot cutting. Diagrammatic representation of whole shoot cutting. In case of middlings, the top of the branches are cut. In case of bushes, whole shoot is cut from the base. Merits of this method. This method requires less labor and time in harvesting and bed cleaning. The leaves of the branch remain fresh for a longer time. Sprouting of the shoots is uniform because we cut the shoots at the same level from the base in case of bushes. Demerits of this method is desirable leaves cannot be selected. This method is suitable only where sprouting occurs throughout the year. Storage of leaf. Why there is need of storage? Need of storage is because the harvested leaves are not given immediately to the larvae because it contains more starch which is not palatable. It is kept for some time and then it is fed to the larvae. Also, it is checked for the presence of oozy fly and other pests. Larvae are fed 4 to 5 times a day while the leaves are harvested only once or twice a day. So for whole day, 24 hours, you need to preserve the leaves. There is a time lapse between harvesting and feeding to the larvae. So storage of leaf is necessary. Problems during storage. The preserved leaves lose water as time progresses. There is deterioration of nutrients of the leaf. To overcome this problem, usually the leaves are stored in leaf chamber. The leaf chamber are made up of bamboo which are placed apart so that there is space for air to move in and out. From all the four sides and bottom also wet gunny bags are placed. Leaf are placed inside the leaf chamber very lightly. They are not pressed, and over the surface also wet gunny bag is placed. So because of this, the leaves do not lose moisture. The leaves are not pressed because if you press the leaf, then in the center of the leaf chamber heat will be generated and putrefaction of leaf will occur. When you are rearing on a small scale, then leaves are stored in wet gunny bags. Care during storage. Leaves for young larvae are kept in basket, while for grown-up larvae it is kept in wooden or bamboo leaf chambers covered with wet gunny bag from all sides. It can be stored in double-layered gunny bag also. It has to be kept in cool place so that doesn't dry up. It should not be exposed to direct air, otherwise the leaf will dry very fast. Should not be stored in heat because At the center of heat will be generated and putrefaction of leaf will occur. Storage time should not exceed 24 hours. So if you are plucking the leaf or if you are cutting the shoots or branches this morning, the next morning you need to harvest leaves again. Thank you.